And we're back with the last session of Maison de la Corriveau. We've gone over collaboration off screen, talked a bit about the general arc we want these characters to take in the last session. So let's get into it. We left our group with Alatea, Casimir, and Vesperine up in the attic, with the door suddenly locked and they couldn't get out as the attic started to go up in flames, and they all heard a cackling that was very familiar to Alatea for some reason. So we're going to pick up exactly there. In the next novel chapter, we have Reputation and Rumor and Scandal and Epistolary first. But once we get to our final novel chapter, we're going to pick up immediately at that point. You look disappointed that we're not doing it now.
No, I thought we don't do in the last phase. I thought we didn't do
Reputation
Rumor and Scandal?
Reputation. Yeah, Rumor and Scandal. I guess we do. Do we do Reputation? Because I know we don't do Rumor and Scandal.
Yeah, definitely not that.
We don't do Rumor and Scandal in the last one. You're right. I'd forgotten about that, but we do Reputation.
I always do. Okay.
So
No,
yeah.
it's just stress.
Okay, so
I'm
let's
so
just
pumped.
let's do a quick Reputation and Epistolary and get into our final novel chapter. So
Trying to remember what Vesperine would have done that could have gotten her a reputation tag.
I think Adalbert's just going to get a negative. Because he did ignore a rather direct plea for help. So that he could help Alatea in the way that he thought was best rather than what she actually asked him for. I'm going to give him an aloof tag as a negative. So he's kind of up in the clouds on his high horse. I can't think of a third metaphor to mix in this. But yeah. Negative reputation, a fucking werewolf.
I think that's what happened.
I'm crying.
Just negative reputation tag, actual werewolf.
I think I can say that she got a negative. Or did she also get a positive? Because I'm looking.
I am actually going to give Adalbert a positive now that I remember that he encountered this werewolf and made it out alive.
Good for him.
We'll get him next time.
Maybe.
I think.
Whoa. Hello. Did you just delete a checkbox, my guy?
Did I?
Yeah, I think you did.
Oh, you know what happened? It was tabbed over.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. I was hitting the mute command, and I wasn't
Excellent.
tabbed over.
Aloof and...
What?
Bless Titus's heart, I think he would have got like a bumbler tag for digging up the skin, wineskin.
Yeah. Wait, why does the foreign one also have fracture as a negative
Yes.
tag? Okay,
Yeah.
fracture is not exclusive to the socialite.
No, fractures in quite a few, I think.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, fractures in a few.
Because
Usually I find them.
I knew that both Casimir and Adalbert had fracture as an option because they're both socialites, but I didn't realize it was in some of the other ones as well.
It's in a few.
All right, Adalbert has centered as a positive tag and aloof as a negative tag.
Can she get a positive?
You should get a positive, yes. I'm trying to think of the word for making oneself vulnerable. And I can't think of the word.
Open, maybe?
I mean, I feel like that is the very basic. I'll just keep vulnerable because I think it was, despite losing him in the woods, Alepia made themselves vulnerable to Emmerich, and that was a positive. But also wanted because I went and I, did that. I wasn't going to put the word I wanted to.
Why not? What's stopping you?
Suppose I could look up the word for it in French because I forgot. I want to keep it. Why is it so close to the word in Italian? I did not know this. Is it really that word in French? Did I not know? It's so close.
I think that's the male version, but yeah. But maybe not. That it may only have a female because,
It could be. I believe you. Your French is much better than mine.
Oh.
I can use the word tart. That is also cute.
I haven't heard the word putain since I was in high school French class.
Or like, not surprising. I feel like that's when that word gets
most
around.
of the French speakers that I've worked with in my adult life are speakers of Quebecois French, and they have stronger, more sexist words than putain that are more commonly used.
Of course.
Dudes rock, as the saying goes.
In Italian, there's far too many words to use. Oh.
I really don't know what to choose as her negative condition tag.
Maybe she doesn't get a negative. Can we talk about the positive reputation tag Foxy when you're dating an actual dog man?
I know. I was looking at synonyms for like clever or like strategic, and I saw Foxy, and I was like, "This is too funny not to pick."
Yeah.
Because I think that she really proved her sort of, I don't know how to say it.
Options is an interesting one. So who is this person of wealth or importance that is taking an interest in you?
Honestly,
in the 11th hour.
I think it's the Loup-garou. I was wondering if we could use that as the phrasing. Not wealth, but importance. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Powerful. Yeah.
yeah.
I love that.
I like that interpretation. We can roll with that.
Yes, me too.
For
So
me,
with
for
great
my
offense,
negative, I
yeah.
chose great offense. I think Casimir's pissed at me for digging up the garden.
We did
Pissed at Titus.
semi-establish that, so that
Yes.
works.
So I'm just leaning into that.
Wonderful. And Casimir has taken fracture and social capital.
I had social capital, I think.
Oh yeah, you had social capital already, but who are you fractured with?
The bear. And probably also Titus if we're...
I think Adalbert works. You did sort of try to maul me.
Just a little. You made it
I think
out.
Titus is going to try to win you back.
OMG. I feel like this is. I remember establishing this, and if we want to keep it running, we don't have to. But when Vesperine came into the attic in the middle of the sibling conversations, she said that Titus was in the garden talking to the servants about flower language. So he can still. He could possibly see the house on fire. I don't know what's going on with the haunting.
I did have that thought, yeah.
You're nearby. You're nearby.
I am close at hand and a man of action.
Yes.
There is fire. Fire causes concern.
Well, is there
You can see
fire?
that from
Well,
the
we
window.
have to establish whether the fire is visible to people outside the attic,
Yes.
because this is like a spectral manifestation.
Oh, absolutely. I was just saying that he is nearby.
If it's real fire, I think that manifesting real fire, I think people should be able to see it.
Is it real fire?
Well,
I mean, I would do that for the sake of including Titus,
Yes.
but I do think I like the idea of spectral fire, like a shared delusion.
Mm-hmm.
I like
think
that
that's
too.
just a
I'm
little
just saying, if
easier.
it's real fire, I think it needs to be real. But if it's not actually going to kill them, like, can it kill them? If it can kill them, I think it needs to be.
If it's spectral, it could still include Titus in being able to see it and making him think that it is indeed a real threat. But the rest of the
Especially
people
with
in
him
the
having
house
been
don't.
haunted. Especially with him having been haunted previously.
Mm.
So,
But yeah.
all right.
So we don't have to include the rest of the people.
It sounds like
Just-
everyone's done with reputation. Do we want to do a quick epistolary? It seems like a weird moment to do epistolary because we have this huge
What?
cliffhanger to deal with.
Fire.
Yeah, let me just sit down at my writing desk while I burn to death.
Yeah, just real
I
quick.
mean,
I'll just
you
write.
say that as if there aren't dozens of useless man characters played on the Story Brewers server that would do exactly that.
Yeah, but I
I'm
don't
sorry.
think any of us fit that bill.
I mean,
Titus,
if we really want to write letters, we could do letters from the past, like
Yeah.
we sort of did with backstory.
Titus maybe fits that bill, but it's a strong italics maybe. I'm like, oh, I know there's this catastrophe here, but I have to finish this letter today.
Man of action.
It's like a late essay. It's like, I need to submit this by midnight, guys. Like, I can't.
This is my legacy.
Oh, I think Laura might be frozen.
Oh, no.
No,
Oh,
Laura's
okay.
breathing.
All right, maybe it was just for me.
No, I
Alright,
don't think
so-
Titus is one to do that.
So let's jump into our final novel chapter then. We
Okay.
will deal with the fire and then we'll develop a list of scenes based on how that plays out.
That's true.
So,
We should-
I am going to rule as the facilitator. It is not real fire, it is spectral fire. Only the main characters can see it, including Titus out in the garden. He can see this.
Mm,
That does not mean it can't kill you.
okay.
This is
because
true, but
these
this
are
also
fo-
works.
these are forces beyond our ken.
To
This
us,
is true.
It feels entirely real, but also probably it looks off in a way that you don't quite have words for.
Understood.
Having heard opinions from the whole group, this is my best attempt at synthesis.
No, I think
Works
it
for
makes
me.
So, yes. I don't see any reason why spectral fire should not still be deadly. Even if it just means it's scaring you to death. So, let's pick up right where we left off. Vesperine, you go to the door that you had locked behind you. It doesn't seem to be unlocking as this conflagration starts. And the colors are hazy and bright and just kind of not quite like normal fire. And the three of you, and actually I'm going to say Titus hears this in like a more distant way, hear this blood-chilling cackle coming from this dense body of smoke that's building up in the corner. Alatea recognizes this cackle. Casimir might recognize it too because it does still sound like your mom. Just
Hi, Mom.
your mom, but wrong.
Alethea turns from the door. Like they have frozen for that flinch of recognizing something, just like that jump scare moment, and they're frozen, and then they turn slowly because they know what is about to happen in a few ways, in a way. They don't know exactly, but they recognize it.
I think Vesperine's initial reaction is her shoulders tense, and then she's gonna tug at the door handle and frame with all of her strength in her body before anything else. And I'm assuming that it doesn't budge at all.
You have an exquisite bruise on your shoulder from the effort, but the door is unmoved.
Yeah, she just mumbles a curse under her breath, and I think goes to sort of hide behind Casimir. Not hide, but that sort of thing of looking over someone's shoulder.
So cute. These two.
Shall we try the window?
The smoke is continuing to billow and build. If you want to try to get to a window, you'll have to move quickly.
To hell with it then. I mean, we'll just pick up a desk and hurl it through the nearest window. Or chair, I guess.
It does go through the window, but
Yeah.
now you have a window of shards of broken glass on the top floor of a building as your exit route.
It's got curtains.
Yeah, actually, speaking of, Vesperine will drag some down and try to roll it. Almost like rope. Obviously, it's a shoddy job.
As Vesperine approaches the curtains, a long arm with menacing talons on the end reaches out from the smoke and grabs you by the shoulder.
Oh, the same one I just bruised on the door?
If you want.
For extra effect, yeah.
Alatea, Casimir, you have not seen these talons for quite some time.
Alethea, who has been standing there, because I'm assuming she's there, we can see her. That's my, we didn't get an image.
It's just a gaunt, lanky, claw-covered arm reaching out of this billowing smoke. That's all you can see at the moment.
Okay. I was wondering, wanted to make sure. So then Alethea has been standing there staring at this, probably eventually guarding their nose when they realize when they realize what is real, and then they reach into their huge 1790s pockets, 1780s pockets for their little, probably their little witchy ceremonial blade, because who are we without those? And they go, do you have any other plans besides breaking the house, brother?
Casimir throws his rosary towards the hand.
I am going to flip a coin as to whether you actually hit or not. Because, like, in the absence of suddenly introducing dice mechanics on the fly, this seems like a mechanic on the fly that has fewer implications.
I mean, strictly speaking, I should spend a resolve token to do this.
Oh, actually, yeah. You should spend a resolve token. You have tons of tokens, so
Yeah, one of them.
Do you want it to hit?
I see. This is the thing: is I don't know. I think both are good options. I will flip a coin.
Yeah.
Heads, I go through
Sort
with
of
it.
to the coin.
The coin is tails. I miss.
Okay, so you do not spend a token for a hit.
Alright.
The rosary falls limply and uselessly to the floor.
Typical.
This is what you get for putting your faith in something that wishes to smother us. At this point,
Please save the
A voice emerges from the smoke. At least you're still wearing your scapular.
At this. Oh gosh, why is this one so funny today? All right. At this, Alethea does take out their blade and very calmly, but I'm not going to do it for real. I have a pointy thing, it's cool, okay? And they put out their hand and we're not going to get graphic, they draw it across their hand and they say, what do you want? And there's enough salt in Alethea's blood that they just throw a circle, like crescent across, and they say, I want you to give him back.
As a reminder,
Mama.
when you say give him back, are you talking about Emmerich or are you talking about Casimir?
Yes.
Oh, you're talking about
Casimir's
Emmerich.
right here.
Yeah, I was confused for a second.
Where'd Casimir go? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I was about to say, what did he-
Green's got a claw on her, man, but nobody
Yeah.
needs to care about that.
Apparently,
You're working on
Vesperine
it.
is saying.
Yeah, on it.
Vesperine is saying is still as a statue.
So
Uh,
you say you tell Madame la Corriveau that you want her to give back Emmerich. There's
mhm.
a light chuckle from this dark corner of the attic.
And Mama.
And she just responds, I'm not sure you'll enjoy him as much in the condition you left him.
They hear a clank against the wall and some clanky noises and a little huffing and puffing. And Titus's head appears at the window. He is on a ladder. He looks in and sees this. He looks. He's like, "Everybody!" quickly. And then he sees the claw grasping Vesperine, and he starts to slide down the ladder. He almost falls off the ladder
Yeah, just stooge style.
and catches himself about halfway down. Yes, Stooge style, exactly.
I love him so much.
Yeah.
He's a little
So-
confused, but he's got the spirit.
Does the claw / woman respond at all into the interruption?
Titus is completely beneath her notice.
Oh,
He's not even part of this family. He doesn't even go here.
it's a go or no. Oh
Um,
gosh.
but the grasp on Vesperine's shoulder is tightening as the smoke starts to coalesce and form the rest of a body.
Okay. I'm gonna wait if you have something really cool to do since you're coalescing. But I plan to stab Mama.
Oh my god, I so appreciate you giving me time to coalesce. I feel so
You're welcome.
validated.
Mademoiselle, please, if
As this is happening, she is also drawing Vesperine closer, like pulling her arm in.
yeah, there's the grip of a ghost. She has muscles, but it's supernatural forces.
At a certain point, Casimir will just grab the other arm.
This hurts a lot. Could you please?
Oh, wait, Vesperine's other arm or La Corriveau's other arm?
Vesperine's other arm.
Okay. So one of those is much more ballsy than the other.
Yeah.
We're not quite there, but I will punch a ghost in the face if pressed.
There's no need
Are
for
we-
this. If you wish for help, it's easy enough to give. This really, truly.
Mama does not want help. She wants power.
As the face of La Corriveau forms in its ghastly, decayed form, lights enter the eyes and look directly at Alatea. You dare to make demands of me after leaving behind everything I taught you.
You think I did? How droll, Mama. If that's the case, I don't want to run you over for cool cinematic things. But if you have nothing else, do you? Just out of question, curiosity.
Isabella, you're the player. You're allowed to just do stuff.
No, but I don't like.
Do it. Do it.
I am
Do
sure-
it.
I am-
Be cool.
I am making.
Corriveau
I
can
am-
have an interesting reaction to being stabbed.
Isabella, I'm making up my cool cinematic stuff in response to everything you guys do. So I don't have anything pre-planned. I do not have
just
anything
wanna make sure.
pre-planned. Just
Okay.
go ahead and do what you're
Then-
going to do.
Oh, okay. So then Alethea is going to purposefully, walk across the room, grab Mama by the wrist, and I will pay the resolve token to stab her in the chest. I'm not going to do the face, the chest. I know it's more smart.
So
to do
pay that
face, but
token to La Corriveau.
Yeah,
I will
vampire
pay it
rules.
to La Corriveau.
Yeah. Excellent.
Did I give it to you already? Did you?
I
Okay,
marked.
put
I
one
marked
there.
one. Oh, I already marked one, so she should only
Okay,
have one.
then.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good.
Va bene.
All
right. So I took it away from mine, so now I only
Yeah.
have 4.
The knife.
And I want it to be successful.
The knife plunges in, and La Corriveau looks down at you. She seems taller than she was in life.
I was about to say, how do you remember me being short? Alethea's short.
I remember everything. I'm the facilitator.
Thank you.
Like, you're pretty sure she's not any taller than she was in life, but the gulf looking up at her seems wider than it ever has. She looks down at you, and just hisses, "How dare you defy me?" And she's going to spend that resolve token you just gave her to throw Vesperine across the room past you. You were
Have it
saying
then.
you were saying you wanted Vesperine to be haunted more. It's just also a little bit of pro wrestling.
So Lugaru. I know
Could
you
I
pay a
pay
token
a
for this.
resolve token to catch her?
Oh, lovely.
I'm a little confused. Is the Lugaru paying a token to come out and catch her, or is Casimir
No.
paying the token?
Casimir, are you paying a token for me to catch her,
Whatever works.
or for you to catch her?
I think it
I
would.
don't,
Be,
I don't think
it
we
would
should get
be.
Satan his own self involved at this stage, but if you want to,
Oh, Satan's already involved. Trust me.
more involved.
Hi, how you doing?
I do think it would be very cinematic for Casimir to
Go
Jacob.
full Twilight for a
Yeah,
third time.
Jacob black it up, eyes go yellow.
But wait,
have
that
to
wasn't
tell.
actually what I had. The thought I had.
Oh,
I'm
what was
totally
the
willing
thought
to do
you
that,
had?
but let me share my thought instead.
Yeah.
Because Vesperine now has a connection. She wanted someone powerful to take an interest in her and the Lugaru.
Oh, excellent.
So my thought is that, and if I have to pay a token to anybody, you just let me know who. The Lugaru appears, but instead of talking to Casimir, as he is wont to do, or instead of taking over Casimir's body, he appears and offers himself instead to Vesperine. Aren't you tired of everybody around you being more powerful than you are? Wouldn't you love, Vesperine, to be the one with all the power?
I think this is a token into the void because it's an atypical thing for the Lugaru
Happily.
to do. So, yeah.
I'll just
Void.
make it go away.
Void token. I think Vesperine. I'm sure it's as she's like being slammed backwards, like the voice echoing. I think she closes her eyes and she thinks of what her father would have wanted for her.
Your father did have a nice bushy beard.
He did.
You'd just be taking after him.
But
Is that what you want?
I will have Vesperine smell the smell of the dead leaves as if it's starting to catch fire and burn away, and it's acrid, and you get very, very bad feelings about it.
yeah, I think she takes in the scent and the thought that is returned, probably as she's slammed into a wall and blacks out for a hot second, is if I'm going to become more powerful than them, I'm going to do it on my own terms. Thank you. And then, yeah, she hits a wall or a desk.
Immediately is blacked out.
No regrets. No regrets from Vesperine.
No regrets.
No regrets.
And the Lugaru is gone.
One bruise, one concussion, no regrets.
So true.
Yeah,
It's just a typical trip to the monster truck rally.
Yeah.
yes. I'm gonna agree with that. Brother, pick up your wife, and I think a retreat is in order.
Well, the door's still blocked, so.
You broke the window. There's a ladder. Go.
All right. Heaving Vesperine over one shoulder.
Titus has gotten over his shock and is back up the ladder and helps take Vesperine.
Clear out, coming down.
La Corriveau is now moving toward Alatea, I'm going to spend a facilitator token for Alatea to be grabbed from behind, possibly by the scruff of the neck.
If you think that, I think it will have been just as Alethea has gone to turn, because this entire time they have been watching her. So that split second of them turning to go is when that does happen.
All right.
So I will
and
accept
you
that.
feel, yeah, I've marked it off the facilitator, and I'm putting it on Alatea. You have
Thank
5
you.
tokens. So you feel these thin talons that are exceptionally strong, wrapping around your neck from behind, holding you back. You can feel it piercing into your skin.
I will also add the detail that it feels almost like a noose, because you said wrapped around your neck. And
Yes.
I'm good with that if everybody is too.
Very
And they
thematic.
go to, yes, and they do. I imagine that they do fall backwards because of how hard she's pulling. She's a paranormal force. She can do what she wants. So Alethea is being dragged backwards, because that sounds fun too.
Dragged backwards toward a large mirror.
Oh, I did not have time. What this can do.
Excellent.
A major. Yes. I just took out the things in the image. Okay. Now that I've been cheeky. There we go. Hello.
Come now, don't you miss your sister?
Oh, so are we sitting me in a one of the I imagine that this has been set up ages ago, probably from Mama, and probably maintained by Alethea. So this is a table with a chair and a very beautiful, ornate vanity deal with a black mirror.
Yeah. And she's dragging you toward this mirror. It almost looks like the flames are coming from this mirror.
Great.
This is
Love that. They are resisting at every turn, but they do get there. Hard to resist a paranormal force here.
She starts to enter the mirror, bringing you with her.
Oh. That knife, that blade did not go too far into Mama's chest, did it?
It might still have been in your hand. You could have put it in and pulled it out.
I think it's up to you whether you pull it out. I like the idea cinematically of it still being stuck in her chest while she's doing this.
I do too. So I will pay a resolve token for Alethea to be able to wrench back while they're choking and, struggling.
Right.
And
paying that to La Femme Fatale.
yes, sure. I've just unclicked it, so you can put it where you need.
Wonderful.
And wrench it as forcefully as they can out of Mama, and to stab the mirror. So it can break. Doesn't mean it can't work later, but it just means that it's broken. If that's all good.
Yeah. So as you swing this knife toward the mirror, you hear a familiar voice. You're not sure if it's Aletta or if it's your mother when you were younger. It's some kind of feminine voice, just singing really gently. Alouette, gentille alouette,
We're talking about that. This is
je te plumerai,
I
What?
thought that too. That's the first thing I
I
thought.
That's the first song I thought.
It's a little bit basic as a choice, but I thought it would
Yeah,
work.
yes. Joke brain was working, and somehow it was Kismet.
Excellent. Wonderful.
Yes.
Altea, gentil Altea, Altea, je te tuerai.
Excellent. I love that.
Yes, me too.
For context, for the non-French speakers, the original song is Alouette or Songbird. Pretty Alouette, I am going to pluck your feathers. What Laura just sang was Alatea, pretty Alatea, Alatea, I'm going to kill you.
Yep. Love it.
Wonderful.
Yes, very.
Do you want your attempt to break the mirror to be successful with that resolve token?
I do, because we have so much to do in this session.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
All right.
So I do. There's
knife,
other black mirrors.
Yeah, the knife pierces the mirror, and for a moment, La Corriveau's grip on your throat tightens, almost as if it's a pain response. But as the shards of the black mirror fall to the desk and to the floor, they start to turn into that thick, black, otherworldly smoke, as does the rest of La Corriveau. The light in her eyes gleam at you as she hisses, Ce n'est pas la fin.
This. Alethea just gets angrier and angrier and starts hacking away at what's left of the entire vanity frame. They're just going into destructo mode.
By the
The blade
time
with their blood.
by the time you
It's
get out
potent.
of that, you find yourself just making gashes in a desk. There's no damage to the attic except for a broken window and a ladder slightly askew.
Did you want to add something to that, Laura?
Yeah. You are
Yes,
muted.
I would. I was thinking that as she's, you know, as they are slashing away, Titus comes in through the window because Alatea has not come out, and Titus has come up to get them. And so Titus, if it's okay, Titus is the one who puts his arms around them and calms them down.
Probably has to bodily lift this person because they are just,
That's what I was
even though
thinking.
that they realize, even though they realize that it's all in their mind, they are going to destroy the vanity. Like, they're going to just keep stabbing at it, knock over the frame. I will imagine that it is kind of ornate like that, and it links to the table itself, and they're just letting out these bestial grunts and screams and screeches.
And I think Titus is there when it goes from being engulfed in flames to suddenly being nothing special.
But yeah, you can absolutely bodily lift this person. Totally fine. They'll
that's-
eventually stop after they've struggled a bit.
Kaya, it sounds like you have something to add.
I think at the same time on the ground floor, probably Casimir, we probably end up on, like, you know, the grounds of the garden or whatever. And I imagine there will be servants fussing over us. But I think Vesperine, the second she wakes up, she cradles, like, the back of her head for a second and then just grabs onto Casimir's arm and, like, drags him to, like, lean in a little closer. And I think the first thing she says to him is, Casimir, darling, I don't think your mother likes me very much. and she just bursts into like delirious laughter from the pain, clinging on to him. And the servants are just standing around like, what's going on with the new lady of the house? What's going on with the actual house? As she's just deliriously laughing in his arms.
It's fine. I just don't think we'll invite her to the wedding.
Excellent. I think that's a good end to this first scene. Let's get a list of scenes for the rest of the novel chapter. Alright, so what do we want to see now that we've gotten ourselves out of this?
Careful.
What?
Yeah, wow.
Careful. Yeah,
I feel like
all
there's
right.
no way after this incident where only a few people saw a fire, there was a broken window. I feel like the rumors abound. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
And it's
Yes.
the final, like,
The rumors can't abound. We're in the final cycle. There isn't a rumor in scandal phase.
the metaphorical rumors.
Listen, the witch hunt was already in rumors, so it's fine.
Yes, exactly. We're just
Yeah.
using that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
I feel like this
technically
is
we
like
did-
the last straw.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Adalbert can absolutely use his last interaction, but you know, this is the camel meet hay, hay meet camel. Nice to meet you.
I think Adalbert would definitely be kind of attending to Paraguay, like sidekicking it up. So Adalbert will be there. Is there anything else we want to add to the list, or do we want to just go scene by scene? What do we want to do now?
Fine going scene by scene. Nothing springs to mind.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have
Okay.
to just take it one at one.
Yeah, let's just take it one at a time. So
Just a note,
yes.
Loup-Garou only has one resolve token left, which to possess Casimir. So Loup-Garou can
Good
only show up one more
riddance.
time.
Well, I still have 2 facilitator tokens.
All right.
And I also need to speak to the Loup-Garou.
I might,
Loup-Garou's
I-
pulling
I-
off
I-
his hours.
He'll find himself rather in demand, I expect.
Okay, I wanted to just let that be known.
But he can't have the one person he wants. Which
It's
Everyone
his fault for going after someone who's actually powerful.
I do need to go refresh my drink and
Yeah, that's
grab
a good
a
time.
snack. Let's do a 10-minute bio break before we move on, just because that was a really big opening scene.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, see you in 10.
À tout à l'heure.
This YouTube channel I really love that does accordion covers of video game music just posted a cover of Zora's Domain for solo accordion. And that was what I was jamming out to while I eat some cold pizza.
All I did was run around try to get new tea because I made a fruity tea that I thought wouldn't do bad things with my my creme de leche, but
I mean, I love that so many Good Society players are into fancy teas and stuff, but it's never going to be as good as this, let's be real.
I will fight that. I will fight that. Excuse me, you should have Paris from Harney and Sons. It's good stuff. Although I do have I have so many teas.
Okay, but is your tea full of enough sugar to kill a man, but also tart somehow? I think
depends.
not.
I have fruity teas and I have floral.
It is when I add
teas.
boba.
Huh?
It is when I add boba. It is that sweet.
Putting
this is
bobas
true.
into this would be really interesting, actually.
I feel like you might
I think so
die
too.
from sugar overload.
I think the only time I actually use sugar, because I don't actually eat much sugar, is when I make simple syrups, stuff like that. Because I forage from the area around me, and usually I take grape hyacinths, which I have some right now that I do need to forage, and then I do my forsythia and my balloon flowers that I planted last year, and let's see, different rose petals that I do. So I sugar a lot of things, but I honestly don't drink a lot of sugar with my tea unless it's in this form.
Yeah, I do
This is
love
milk.
that. I do love that look of "listen, bitch" when I said that I like Arizona.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I know.
It's just
yeah. Just to add to this image I'm cultivating of distinctly unfancy in contrast to Isabella, the cold pizza I was eating was from Chuck E. Cheese. You can get Chuck E. Cheese pizza you can get Chuck E. Cheese pizza by delivery now.
Roz.
You can also get food poisoning by delivery.
Roz, are you okay?
Okay, so the reason I have that pizza is because my partner and I learned that you can get pizza from Chuck E. Cheese via delivery, and we decided to find out if it was any good, and it was actually much better than I expected.
Okay.
But
I'm sorry your life has led you to this point.
I just thought it would be funny. And it actually ended up being kind of okay pizza.
I feel like in college, one of my friends, one of my classmates, worked at Chuck E. Cheese, and she loved it then. This was years ago, so it could have changed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I make my own pizza.
When my son was little, we spent a lot of time at Chuck E. Cheese. It was they had an indoor playground that he got to climb all over, and it was.
I was the opposite, and I've only been into Chuck E. Cheese 2 or 3 times because it was so germ infested.
We had off-brand Chuck E. Cheese near me. It wasn't like a Showbiz Pizza or anything. It was called the Funplex. It's gone now.
Yeah.
The fun's over.
The fun is over.
Alas.
Damn.
Darn.
Your local fun purveyor has gone out of business. How sad.
And the tiny weird theme park is also gone. Truly, the pandemic has robbed us of joy.
Final shooting of the shit before break ends officially. I want to pitch a game to y'all. This is the thing I plan to start working on after this, because after this, the only games I'll be in Good Society-wise is the Deep Cuts thing I'm running for a while. I have some non-Good Society games that I play in, but those are not as big of a time commitment. I haven't really had a chance to talk to a lot of people about this idea. I just want to pitch it to y'all, see if it sounds interesting. This setup of having like the big bad character that the facilitator uses within the Good Society engine has started to become really interesting to me. I want to explore it more. And I was thinking about this while my partner and I have started a marathon of the Godzilla franchise. We're watching every Godzilla movie ever made. And I feel like a kaiju hack of Good Society where the big bad is the monster, played by the facilitator, and then the game is really about how people maintain their relationships in the wake of this tragedy, how they all respond differently to the monster. Kind of like the first Godzilla movie. The first Godzilla movie
Mind
from
reels.
54. Like the first Godzilla movie from 1954 is actually really heavily themed. There's a love triangle.
Have you
It's
seen
got a
Shin
lot of social
Godzilla?
commentary. It's on the list because we're watching all of them, but I have not seen Shin Godzilla yet.
Okay, you are watching all of them. Good, because
Yes.
you've unlocked another one of my special interests. I have opinions about Godzilla.
Wonderful. We're going to be watching, my partner and I, after this, are going to be watching King Kong versus Godzilla, which is the third
See,
one ever made, and apparently not very good. But
The new King Kong vs. Godzilla is like cinematic experience of that year for me. I would just made like noises.
yeah,
I
based
just
on the
personally
facial.
always love King Kong.
Yeah.
I would play. Hands
Yeah.
down, I would play that.
Okay, based on the,
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say based on the facial expressions and what y'all have to say, it sounds like this is something I should run with.
I definitely think it's very interesting. I definitely think it's stressing the importance of making sure that we mentioned it, I think, in like the first session or something. You said making sure everyone like has a key relationship to the big
Yeah.
bad. I think is definitely what will be very important for that game. I'm definitely interested. I do love a good setup like that. So
Yeah.
I think you'd probably have a genuine amount of fans who would want to try it
Yeah.
out.
The provisional title, because I have started working on it a little bit, I haven't really dove deep into it yet. The provisional title is Where Giants Tread.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Have I played that? Does that exist? I feel like
It sounds like something that exists, but I haven't been able to find it, if it exists.
If you
So I think
if you
I'm good.
adore
It may
monsters,
also be a Swedish film. Hang on.
It sounds like a good. I don't know much about the.
Oh no, Where
fairy
Giants
tale hack for Good Society.
Where
But
Giants Tread was a comic strip based on Star Trek the original series.
oh,
Are you sure?
Interesting.
It's the first Google result.
That's definitely not what I'm thinking of. I don't know. I'll Google it later.
All I can think of is
Where Giants Tread is a story arc in the TOS comic strip that ran in UK magazines and newspapers in the 70s.
Okay. All right.
I was gonna say, I think that kind of setup also works for if you want to take it in a completely different tone genre instead of it being kaiju, Godzilla, etc. It can also work as a very cool like fairy tale kind of concept.
Oh.
Does this mean I
Yeah,
get
there's
to
also
dress
just
in
straight
medieval
up natural
clothes?
disaster.
Yes, and straight up natural disaster. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of
That's
different
true.
directions it could go.
Possibly. A big influence
Disaster.
on the direction that I want to take this and the way that I'm thinking about this is a game by Gene called Hearts and Ravens.
Oh,
I-
I need.
I
to play
really want to play
Ravens.
Hearts and Ravens.
I was
It
in
drives
a
me
Hearts
crazy.
and Ravens game recently with Gene and a couple other people, and it was really interesting. And that's part of what got my mind wheeling and dealing, both for this game and for this kaiju thing I want to do. So
Roger that. I'll be in a Hearts and Ravens game on another server with a few friends that I've also played terrible people with, or never mind.
wonderful.
It's going
sounds
on the
like-
big list for when I get my life together.
It sounds like we should get back to it.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's get back
So,
to it.
Okay, but like,
Pre-scene before.
also we all want to play this game, Raz.
Okay,
It's a
cool,
good
thank
idea.
you.
Good job.
Sign us
How
up.
it works.
I needed some validation that it's a good idea and I should do it.
It's a good
Absolutely.
All right.
You mentioned King Kong. I love King Kong in particular. I do love Godzilla too, but The big guy's my favorite.
You have set my brain. You've like perfectly diverted a portion of my brain to Power Rangers Society
Oh,
and how that would
be,
work.
That would be excellent. Any game where the facilitator gets to be Rita Repulsa is a win for me,
Right?
honestly. Or Ivan Ooze or something like that. Anyway. I think as a pre-scene before they get to the house, we should have a little bit of an interaction between Adalbert and Perrois, just to frame things.
Yes.
So perhaps they're in the carriage on the way there, discussing. Thank you for taking me seriously. I know that my story must have sounded utterly fantastic.
You are not a fantastical man, Curie. And frankly, we have allowed the Corriveau to persist for long enough.
Yes, well, I had suspicions for many years that something disordered was going on with La Famille Corriveau, but I wasn't sure what to do about it, what to make of it. I appreciate your guidance in this matter. It's hard to wrap my head around it being someone I was so close to.
The devil takes many forms. Not all are as obvious as one would expect.
Yes, I suppose that's true. A cold comfort, though.
You are yet on the path to redemption, Curie. Hold fast.
I think this is a good moment for us to arrive, and so
I'm assuming
what do we think the cures are greeted by? Like, what is the state of the estate?
They're coming by unannounced, correct? Or did they?
This is unannounced.
Okay, cool. Then I think if this is just the day or a day or two after, Vesperine is still probably nursing her wounds. But I feel like it's funny if they're interrupting like a tense family lunch. I don't know about you guys.
I feel like them showing up like 2 hours after everything that happened in the attic.
Oh yeah, I think even
like when we're all
right, like we're all still in the garden.
I think that is probably most dramatic, most cinematic. We should go with that.
Okay, sounds good.
I agree. Yeah. So that means Titus has dragged me out the window, and or did we go down?
Still covered in blood.
I think the door opened. Like once everything changed, the door, swung open.
Then Vesperine has probably been escorted inside the house and is in the lounge room. And I assume the four of us are actually all gathered then, if it's that soon after.
Yeah.
I imagine it being like we're all eating in like either outside or in like not the dining room, just wherever we all happen to be sitting, probably in Vesperine's bedroom or something.
It could be in one of the ladies' rooms, because that would be appropriate still. It could be in the morning room. It could be in the reading room. I mean, but it's snowing outside. It has been snowing, so there's snow on the ground. That means there's any blood that has gotten there has stained the white snow.
Yes.
So as long as we get that note, and we're inside eating these things and not in the cold.
Yeah, I think all the servants are really clearly
Deeply
tense.
confused.
Deeply confused and scared looking, shying
More than
away
a little
from
afraid, yeah.
others. But
Any
yeah,
of
let's
the
see.
ones, because anyone that Alethea has kept on is probably those who are more aware of the family. Remember, Alethea has dismissed a great deal of the staff.
Oh yes,
True,
that's also
but
true.
they also didn't see the flames, and so they
Mhm.
can
Yeah.
it can still be like,
Yeah, that's
They-
why
they
they're
know
so
better to
confused. Like,
speak.
why are the people in charge acting so weird?
I
I
think
think
reading
Why
room
did-
Titus,
makes
wherever
sense.
we are, Titus is just pacing
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah,
Why
I think
did-
reading room
Why
makes
did my
sense. Thanks
boss
to the
invite me to
same
this
one.
group chat? Sort of
Sorry,
energy.
Russ.
He's not my boss. He's my friend.
No,
My
I'm
good
talking.
friend.
No, I'm talking about the staff, not Titus.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like they're in this kind of attitude, like, why is my boss acting like this?
Yeah, I think it's the whatever room the previous confrontation with Aldebert and Casimir was, except the grandfather clock is now missing, obviously after everything.
Mhm.
There's
Yes,
a
I think it's that room.
There's a distinctly less faded section of the wall that is just
Right.
kind of sticking out
Yeah.
I
like
think
a silhouette.
I think to prevent any shows of scarring from, werewolf claws, there has been something else put there. Also, partially so because I don't think Vesperine or Casimir have told Alethea yet what has happened.
I think Vesperine would have put like a vase of flowers or something there, like a giant one.
Yes.
That looks clearly fresh and new.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, I love that. Let's use that. Let's do that. Like that. There's Vesperine has created this massive floral arrangement.
Love that.
With flowers from the greenhouse.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
perfect.
So, I think at this point, we've been led in. And we're led to this room where the four of you are in conference trying to process what the fuck just happened.
Alethea is
And then
cleaning
a couple
their
of priests
injury.
helpfully show up.
Vesper, they walk in and Titus is pacing. Vesperine is like fully laid out on the couch with like one hand on her forehead. The drama of
Alethea's got a bowl of water as they're trying to wash and clean their wounds that they've made themselves.
What is Casimir doing in the room? Is he just-
Casimir's just here to help. Casimir's just running around getting whatever you need.
Oh, if that's the case, Alethea will have one of you, particularly Casimir, because this makes it sense scene-wise, to go to the greenhouse and pick up some Spirea, colt's foot, and some white, tiny flower with a yellow center, and it's very wild-looking and thorny, just so that he can take his time trying to figure out what Alethea needs. But
Yeah.
also that's
and
not
dearest-
shooting.
Pastries, dessert, please.
Of course.
Thank you.
I think in the beat after Casimir departs, Adalbert notices Titus there and is really confused what he's doing there. He just kind of whispers to Alethea, "Qui c'est maudit anglais?" Which in French means, "Who's this damned English guy?"
You introduced him to me.
Wait, Adalbert did?
Yes, you did.
were
That's
around her.
you. First scene, you came barging into my house. You called me beloved, unprompted, and then you tried to
Oh, I
introduce.
forgot. I forgot about that.
You're
Adalbert
right.
does
You
know.
ended my life.
Well,
No,
And
I was confused because Adalbert and Titus have interacted so little. I thought they hadn't had a scene together.
nope, we
So
have.
I
Nope.
appreciate the reminder. I think he's still confused why Titus is here because
Yeah, maybe the reason.
he's probably not in the loop about Titus working for all of you.
Oh, absolutely not. He's not in the loop.
It's just like, what the fuck is he doing? So I think that stands. The context is just slightly different. It's not like who is he. It's more like, what's this?
Yeah.
What's the Angloid doing here?
Whereas Titus is like,
Does Titus speak any
my
French?
man, you come in and Titus is offering you a drink right away. Ah, gentlemen, we are at the moment at 6 and 7, but Casimir will be back shortly. Meanwhile, can I offer you a drink?
No,
Adalbert just
thank you.
raises a hand to politely decline. Question: does Titus speak any French?
Un peu.
Yeah, very, very elementary French.
He
Okay.
he was here as a boy.
Yeah. Okay. Just we never established that, and that's important to establish
Un peu.
because, yeah.
I believe he understands more than he speaks. Because that's how it works.
Alethea is not looking at Aldebert at all. They're still cleaning. There's a lot of blood. They really did a number on their arm because why not be obvious?
Yeah.
Cinematically cool.
So, seeing the cold reception from Alatea, which is to be expected, Adalbert just addresses Vesperine quietly off to the side. T'as embauché cet anglais comme majordome? Like, you hired the English guy as your butler?
Vesperine moves her hand down from her forehead to her mouth to hide a laugh. And I don't know French, but she will respond back in French. No, Titus has been employed. Monsieur Titus has been employed as, well, a botanist, as is his normal profession, to help redo our gardens and such.
This business here
excellent.
is none of yours.
Speaking
Correct.
of which, how can we help you, dear curates?
I think Adalbert just looks to Perrois to take charge.
We have come to seize this house.
Seize the house? On what grounds?
Need of immediate exorcism. You will find the proper writ here, on authority from Rome.
She'll take the papers, and I think she'll go over to Alatea, of course, and they'll go through them together.
Alethea. Go ahead.
Surely you can conduct an exorcism with us still living here. It's our property, the family Corriveau's property.
You may remain if you wish. There are no guarantees what will become of the place. There has not been a proper assessment just how cursed this soil is. We have received many strange reports from the congregation.
I'm certain.
Titus is like, I say, old man, the soil's not cursed at all. Things bloom here brilliantly. Have you not noticed? Their gardens are exquisite.
I
Perrois
just
will
made this from
simply
our
ignore you.
greenhouse.
Just
You're a Protestant. You're not part of this.
Yeah.
You're already damned. No, that's Calvinist. I'll get it back.
The eye roll, though, is still in character for Alethea.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, if the ladies are staying, I'm going nowhere. I shall stay here to protect them.
No need to do that, Dr. Smythe. You are
this-
most welcome here. However, these Clays are not. They have no authority over here. This is not their property.
You claim to have greater authority than God.
No. However, you didn't ask nicely.
Very well, then I shall not ask. Step aside, witch.
Oh, I say, that is going quite too far.
Don't worry, Dr. Smythe. I've heard worse. You, sir, are quite... Oh, a few things I have for you, but unscrupulous and rude.
What do
Barging
you
in
know
here.
of hellfire, madame?
At that, Titus actually starts to giggle. and he kind of, it's bordering on hysterical.
With permission, I think at that, Parois will just backhand you.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
I have a question.
Who are you backhanding?
Titus.
Okay.
I have a question.
That's more a question then.
To clean your wounds, did you have like a full bucket of water?
There's a bowl. Wash basins are very prominent in this time, even though I broke one and it's very expensive.
I think
and it's on Alethia's side on a stand.
When the curé backhands Titus, Vesperine drops the papers in the wash basin.
I'm going to rule as facilitator that for the backhand, Parois needs to pay a resolve token.
Totally fair.
Yeah. Laura needs to also accept it or deny it.
I will accept
So you
it, but Titus will not forget it.
Yeah, I think
Titus
Vesperine
getting
drops
ready to
the-
take off his glove and throw it to the ground.
Please.
I love you so much. I love you so much. Okay, sorry. Continue on.
I think Vesperine drops the papers in the water.
Bloody water. It's
Bloody water, yeah. It's not out of
water.
shock. It is a purposeful thing. But the curé is busy slapping someone. I can pay a resolve token, would we like, though, for the papers to be completely ruined?
I mean, I don't think that really inconveniences Parois at this stage.
No, it's a formality. It's not an inconvenience.
Yeah.
We all saw
it does
them.
make-
Drama, then.
Yes, except for Casimir. But it makes it very interesting too if something were to happen to those papers in that bloody water of Alethia's, which could spur something else on. But I don't know yet what I would want it to do, so I'm not going to pay a resolve token
Yeah.
just yet.
That's fair. Yes.
So how does Titus respond to the backhand? I think that's an important thing that we haven't really discussed.
I think it does shock him into he stops laughing. But also he now recognizes there's a real threat here.
If you're
Wait, as in he recognizes there's a real spiritual threat here, or that Parois
Oh
is a threat?
no, there's a threat here. This guy's fucking crazy. What's he doing coming in and hitting me and getting and discommoding my women? Right?
Who?
Can we talk
Who?
about the phrase
Huh?
"my women"?
Titus feels a great sense of ownership of this whole property.
All right. You know what?
He's been hired. Titus has not been hired. Titus, I mean, money may change hands, but that is not how Titus sees this.
Let's see if you've still been not hired after this, huh?
Oh man.
Gosh.
Oh, God.
Titus's feeling is
I can't
one
believe
of
you.
he's
Classic
not
Anglo
there.
behavior.
I can't believe
Yes.
you called them your women.
I can't get over it. I can't get over it. We need to move on because I'm going to think about it all
Yeah,
day.
yeah. We need.
I know, me too. Okay, so when he has been struck, Alethea will have gotten up very forcefully and moved in front of Titus and say, "I will not allow you to not only disrupt my household, not only to be rude to all its inhabitants, but I will not let you lay a hand on anyone else." You will learn your manners,
I think at that,
particularly.
Parawa will just fully whip out a large gold crucifix and begin an exorcism.
Oh, God.
So, this is gonna mean that both Paraquat and Adalbert have to pay resolve tokens into the void.
Sure.
I didn't realize the church employed lunatics as priests.
Oh, Adalbert is out of tokens, actually.
Oof.
So, Adalbert,
You're
I
not
think
part of this.
the way this is going to happen is Adalbert is just completely surprised by the way things gone. This is not what he expected Parawa to do. Both the back end, but also starting the exorcism kind of immediately. He expected there to be more preparation.
I mean,
so-
there would have been, but these things clearly this is a more hostile house than anticipated.
Well, gee, maybe
They
you
won't
should
even
move
let you
people
slap
around.
people. So yeah, I think Adalbert is just kind of watching helplessly, like, what the fuck? So yeah, what does this exorcism look like?
If you've ever seen The Exorcist, which ironically I have not.
Well, first off, you need a young priest and an old priest.
Check.
Boom.
Check.
Check.
Got that.
You need the thingy that goes here. A stole. I imagine you have those.
Oh yeah, we're both priestly,
Beautiful. Check.
dressed in our vespers.
You do have a crucifix. We do not have anyone climbing backwards in an arch down the stairs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And this is not the time for me to whip out that move. So we'll have to go without. That's basically The Exorcist. Oh, and pea soup.
There's bloody water. Does that count as our soup?
Well, I mean, it gets projectilely vomited. I don't think that's in Alethia's repertoire. Alas.
Also, none of us are possessed. It's the house that's possessed.
Yeah, I think Vesperine just stares at the priest like.
Right. Like there's no. I think Titus actually turns to Adalbert. It's like, are you just going to stand here and do nothing?
Adalbert just turns back and says, I didn't want it to come to this, but it is unfortunately necessary.
Alethea, I'm debating because I need to know if I want to respond directly to Adalbert, because I don't think Alethea wants to talk to him at all. Keeping that fracture real. What can I say? But
I think Titus is. What do you mean you didn't want it to come to this? You literally brought this to their house.
Oh, if only Casimir could be in this scene.
I think this is actually a really good time to reintroduce Casimir.
So that's what I was going. Actually, before let's not start the exorcism. At this point, I think Parawa will turn to Adalbert and say, "Fetch the brother. They all need to be here."
Okay, yeah, we can accept that rewind, I think, if everyone's okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it makes more narrative sense
Yeah.
for Adalbert to go get Casimir. Let's have the camera follow Adalbert. Where is Casimir at the moment?
In the greenhouse, being slightly confused.
So I make my way out to the greenhouse. And
yeah, you'll see like an oil lamp on, like it's very obvious that someone's in there and that it's Casimir.
Monsieur Corriveau.
Curé Giraud. What do I owe the pleasure?
Your presence is required in the main house, I'm afraid.
Just a moment. I have one more plant to find. Ah, yes, this one. Ugh. Probably just a cutting, but I don't know what, so I'll take the whole thing. Very well. To the house.
Adalbert gives you a wide berth, just holds the door open from outside.
I will not question why you're giving me orders in my own home.
I'm not giving... I don't mean to give you orders. I was asked to go fetch you.
So you're here with someone else.
Yes, that is the case.
Why are you here, Curé?
Given our previous encounter, I should hope it would be obvious to you.
Given our previous encounter, I should hope you learned your lesson to stay away.
You know that I can't do that. I have a responsibility that I have to uphold.
Oh, please, it wouldn't be the first one you've abandoned.
Perhaps. It might be
Honestly,
the
I
first
think that's a
follow
good place to...
It
Oh,
might
I
be
can't
the first
hear
I
you.
follow through on, though.
I cannot hear you.
He just says, perhaps. It might be the first I follow through on, though.
Time makes fools of us all. And I think that's scene.
Yeah, that's a good micro scene. I think it would work well for us to get an excuse for Titus to be out of the room, to free Laura up to maybe do Lugaru things.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Although, Titus could still just this isn't his, like, once Casimir is back and there's
He remembers himself in the presence of another man.
well, yeah, I mean, he's just trying to protect protect people. Like, that's his thing. He's just trying to protect people. Casimir's back. It's cool. I think Titus would step back anyway, so you could keep him in the corner. It's not a big deal.
Very good. So, how do things proceed, Paraguay, once Casimir returns without Albert?
See, here's the thing. Is I don't have a plan for this.
That's fine.
I think that if you start to go to bother Casimir, I could cause trouble.
Alright, let's have the camera pan back and see what happens while Adalbert is out in the greenhouse.
Like, part of me is imagining a SWAT raid worth of priests, just like a line of them outside, but that is just not what would happen.
That would be pushing the boundaries of our somewhat important historical accuracy,
Yeah,
I'm afraid.
no.
Well, it could be that Paraguay is going to investigate the house. I mean, it is the house.
No,
Right?
it's also the werewolf and the witch.
The werewolf and the witch, the missing distiller. So there's really
been a
reason why we would have a surprising what?
I was going to say, with all this werewolf and witch shenanigans, there's been a surprising lack of wardrobe activity in this game.
What activity?
I was making a joke, the werewolf, the witch, and the wardrobe.
Oh, I got
no,
that.
I just couldn't
All
hear
right.
you.
Yes,
I'm
Louis.
sitting too far away from
You're
my
just
mic.
a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is that Paraguay it wouldn't be impossible for Paraguay to have decided to go look in all the rooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to sort of take point. So we could have Adalbert and Casimir come in without Perwa physically being there.
Okay.
Yeah, but
But
like
also,
he's an old man. They could simply stop him bodily.
yes, I wouldn't put it past Alethea to physically lay hands on this man right now. Sorry. Anyway, but we could imply that there are um the authority could be investigating the house physically instead of Perro. I forget his name. Sorry, priest dude. We've only been saying it like 1,000 times today.
Yeah,
My
To
French is a fake language.
Totally.
well, isn't it all? To my deaf ears, it is. Anyway, but authority figures to actually go and investigate the missing distiller that has been gone for roughly a little over a month at this point. So, can keep the priests free of having to actually do the grunt work. And you have reason to put Alethea in restraints here.
So there's police in the house too, like looking over
We
the
can say
house.
that.
Sure. Although the cops would be British at this stage, yeah.
Yeah,
Military?
the constabulary would be British at this point. They would not
Mm.
be so invested in what the Catholic Church has to say at this period. The Catholic Church gets more of a political stranglehold on Quebec a little bit later.
Okay, just for my clarification's sake, Adalbert is still out. What happens while they're out is the police now come into the reading room and find out.
We're trying to work this out.
Yeah, I'm just
Basically, if it's two old Catholic, if it's a young priest and an old priest, you can just stop them physically.
Well, but what would be maybe there's a benefit to having an exorcism. Like maybe we see the benefit of exercising the spirit that just tried to kill everybody.
There is a benefit, however, the thing is that we don't want this. We don't like this man doing it.
Yeah.
very
Counterpoint:
least.
Parois is the scariest motherfucker. In Quebec. Full stop.
Yeah, we don't want this man in our house. It doesn't matter if we want the ghost gone.
I think
Yeah.
having heard everything, I think this is the best way to move forward so we don't get really deadlocked. Because we have about an hour left of game time. I think in order to move forward, it is best to move along with the idea that Perrois has started investigating different areas of the house, leaving the rest of you there. And so Adalbert and Casimir come in, and Perrois is somewhere else.
Alright.
Okay.
Adalbert looks around confusedly for a moment, then it clicks. He realizes, he's checking out other parts of the house. Because you can probably hear Perrois kind of sniffing with disapproval as he goes through the rooms.
Oh, and reciting, all of the prayers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like Hail Mary, full of grace. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Adalbert is just going to stand kind of stiffly and very obviously uncomfortable at one side of the room, waiting for Perrois to return. This might be a good time for something spooky to happen now that Perrois is gone. The specifics of that I leave up to all of you. But
I think we established that this room is also the one where there was an old bottle of wine or something, right? That
it was a bottle of Chateau Giroux that Adalbert had brought as a gift for Alatea before they left.
Okay, this suits, I think. I think it works. So at the windowsill where that bottle is sitting, and I think this. Yeah, I think I have to pay a resolve token for this. I think just out of nowhere, it shatters into pieces. And like the wine just starts complete explosion, dripping down the wall. Almost like
empty.
it's empty.
Yeah,
Then-
because Alethea
It's
poured
the
it out.
bottle.
Oh, you're right. I like
But you can make there be wine.
I don't
There can
think
just be
it's
a different
wine.
wine bottle.
I was gonna say that it's a deep red, like almost like blood.
Oh, it's totally blood. It's
Yeah.
1,000 times blood. It's definitely.
So the wine bottle just starts to tremble and then shatters out of nowhere, and there's blood pouring down the wall of this room. And I'll pay a resolve token from Emmerich for that.
Wonderful.
Emmerich, I love
Always
Emmerich
the
so much. I want more Emmerich.
Yes. At this, Alethea has taken note that this is the bottle that, like, I guess they have to go over to it and investigate and try to figure out, is there a reason that I would try to brush this off? And then they see it's the bottle that they had left there because it's got the label over it, I'm assuming. And because you said that there was a note with it, and they're looking how the blood has stained it. And they go, I'm beginning to think I'm not the curse. You definitely should not have come back into my life. Because everything that has happened since you have returned has been a form of hell. But they're looking out the window, not at you.
Adalbert looks pained, but doesn't really have anything to say in response to that.
Brother dear, did you get those?
Not immediately. And then after
Okay.
a beat, he says, I didn't go anywhere. You're the one who returned.
Yeah, Casimir will move over and place the plants on whatever we had a table in here, right? On the table.
There's tons. This is a sitting room. Yes.
Yeah.
They're somewhere.
Are they?
Probably the middle
Yes.
of the room.
Dear brother, did you retrieve what I asked of you? It has
Mostly.
not stopped bleeding.
Right here. Which do you need first?
I need a modern pestle. Cannot simply apply it directly to the skin
So,
in that state. And
It's
then
just-
instead they just get frustrated and they put some of the white one in their mouth and just start chomping at it because you can just chew it and then put it on.
Yeah.
Works in a cinch, just a little thing that
I think as you turn away to do this task, you'll notice that the blood red on the wall starts to fade away. But of course, the bottle itself is still broken into pieces.
This is something that Titus can step up and help with.
absolutely.
Titus comes in, and Titus comes to you, and with your permission, my lady, mademoiselle, he manages to, create the thing that you need. And if you want to, that can also get him away as he creates the plaster for your arm.
Adalbert is going to start gingerly cleaning up this wine bottle that he had left there all those years ago, just for something to do to try to be helpful.
oh,
Alethea's
he's
just
gonna
going to
die
say,
so hard.
leave it. Yes. I don't know. But Alethea's just going to say, leave it.
He just looks at her inscrutably. Just like, why on earth would I leave it? It's broken glass. But keeps picking it up.
I think Parois is essential. I don't know how, Chris, we're gonna.
I was about to do something like you can hear him through the ceiling,
Mm.
and then maybe something
Parois,
spooky happens.
I think it will be easiest to reintroduce Parois after Casimir transforms. Both mechanically because Chris is playing both these people.
Yeah.
But also,
Ooh, wait.
I think narratively it makes more sense.
Okay, I do have an idea really quick
Sure.
for us to start on that trail. Considering you wish to interject yourself into our lives when you are not wanted around, to tell us why you find it necessary to be here, Corey. I believe I deserve an answer.
Respectfully, madame. When I come sit in your sitting room and your brother transforms into some kind of wolfman, nearly makes a meal of me, I think I'm entitled to some concern.
A wolf man. Someone drank a little too much, I think.
Oh. And inside they're going, shit. But on the outside they're going, drinks, you say? Brother, were you drinking?
I was being polite, hosting our guest.
Oh, so you hosted the Croix.
Yes,
Did he also enjoy a glass or two?
Not as many glasses as your brother did.
No one ever drinks as
Hmm.
much as my dear husband.
yes, the wine was quite an old vintage. It may have turned. There's no real guarantee of
I
either of
believe the
our character.
I don't think turned wine can account for what we experienced that night, respectfully, monsieur. It, after all,
however I
does not
do
explain the disappearance of your grandfather clock.
Being
redecorating.
serviced.
Um great, wonderful. Alethea will go. What I have noticed of men is that when they drink, they do tend to get rowdy, and they do tend to make tall stories and have issues with their surroundings, causing great disturbances. So I'm not surprised if you drank enough that you believe. What is it that you said my brother did?
Turn into a bear man?
A bear man. A
Ridiculous.
bear man.
I say bears are hibernating this time of year.
I
Makes
think
no sense at all, really.
I think we're getting to the point where Casimir needs to transform, but I'm not sure how to trigger it.
Well, I know that it's weird because Chris plays both, but I really think the start of the exorcism would be the trigger. Could you start an exorcism? Could you
I could.
decide what?
I could do that.
I mean,
Probably.
could not you, obviously, Adalbert?
Yeah, I think Adalbert could do that.
I think that's what makes the most sense.
Yeah, and so
no,
after a
still
beat, Adalbert looks at the clock, a different clock, naturally.
One on the mantle. It's fine.
Yeah.
There's
And
no
maybe
box.
here's Parois starting the exorcism upstairs.
Yeah, he starts to hear Parois doing his thing and just says kind of stiffly, "It's time. Would you please be seated, and we can begin."
Would no one rid me of this meddlesome priest?
And so Adalbert takes out a cross of his own and takes out a Bible and starts to read different things and recite prayers that were taught to him by Parois. I think that is a good entry point for the Loup-Garou.
the Lugaroo will use a token.
Yep, into the void.
No, I have to possess.
It would go to.
Oh yeah,
Casimir.
yeah. Sorry, you have to. I was forgetting how possession works. Ignore me.
All right. For some reason, Chris, I'm having trouble on my thing getting to the. Okay, never mind. I got it. All right, we're good.
Okay.
The think it's the holy water that Adalbert, flings, and a drop of it hits Casimir, and I think that's the prompt that brings the Lugaroo out. Are you good with that, Casimir? Yeah, okay. So Casimir starts to transform and the Lugaroo appears. And at first there's just a snarl of pain and a sizzling. You can almost smell the fur burning where the holy water hit. And then the Lugaroo sees the priest. And then he smiles. We meet again. My prayers are certainly been answered.
Adalbert stops short for a moment, but continues, eyes on Casimir, or whatever this is. Slowly turns to face you so that the cross is facing you.
Oh, how much do I love these pagan rituals. He snarls and starts to circle the priest. Isabella?
Oh, I was just at first, before you started to move, I was going to say Alethea would move to get in front of Casimir / Wolf McWolfenstein and put a hand there, but you started to move, so I was going to have them ask, "What are you doing?"
Oh, that's fine. We can do that.
Okay. So it's like we are close. My hand is on your chest if you're good with it. And they're looking up into your eyes and they're searching and saying, "What are you doing?"
To whom are you speaking, ma belle dame? If it's your brother, he's no longer here.
Adalbert's recitations are slowly growing more impassioned and rising in intensity.
We will speak later.
Well, what? Sorry.
I said, "We will speak later." That's it.
Okay.
And they remove their hand. They're not bothered by this. Sorry.
Are you going to... Sorry. Are you going to kill the priest in the middle of him reciting things, dear?
Would you like me to?
Well, I just don't... Say the purpose. Can't you just go back to bed?
Oh, those days are long past. This meddlesome priest, someone wanted him gone.
The confirmation that Adalbert already knew, that all of you know about the Lugaroo, kind of makes him stop for a moment.
Alethea also kind of goes, "I figured somehow Vesperine knew. It's somewhere in my brother's little love notes to her sometime when they first met."
Yeah.
Yes, I'm alluding to that joke we made, but they don't visibly make that notice.
In that moment that he stops, he closes the book and puts it back in his coat and pulls out a silver knife, or silvered knife, and then starts his recitations again.
Oh, much better. Don't bring a book to a knife fight, my friend. Silver, ha! Huh. Now you're getting somewhere. I do like a challenge. And he is backing you up. He's backing you towards the door.
Alethea is going to get in between them both, if you're all okay with it. And
I am going to veto that.
okay.
Instead, I'm going to pay a facilitator token for once the beast has me sufficiently backed up and I'm close enough. I've been continuing the recitations mostly just kind of to get a false sense of security. And Adalbert is going to thrust the knife into the beast's chest.
Oh no.
As in, you don't accept the token?
I don't accept the token.
Interesting.
I don't accept the token. I think that this is not the Lugaru's first rodeo.
That's a fair point. How about this? Facilitator token for Adalbert to make a swing with the knife, and you can respond to that however you please.
To be swung at and to be caught on a paw, on a
I think
on
to
a claw?
catch.
Yeah, just not in the chest.
Okay, fair. So I'm transferring that to the Lugaru. So
And
you catch me, and I'm physically put off balance by this, I think.
yes. So I think the Lugaru it howls as the silver knife does inflict a wound, but then has a new resolve and stops toying and instead knocks over Adalbert. The priest goes flying into the wall.
All right.
And
that will require
you can take the token right back.
Paying the token not back to the facilitator pool, but to Adalbert.
Right. To Adalbert.
So there we go. I've marked that.
And I think at this point, the jaws are on Adalbert's throat, but the Lugaru pauses because
Sure,
the
cool.
decision is not his to make.
I have one last facilitator token, and I will pay it to you to just pause for a moment and then snap my head off.
Ah, no. I was going to say if these were...
I was going to allow the people around
Let's, all
to
right.
weigh in.
Because I was going to have Alethea stop it from happening somehow, whether it was just to shout and try to like get it, not get in the way to get eaten, but to stop it. But
How exactly would you stop it?
Probably get in there and I mean, it feels like the Lugaru listens a little bit.
Well,
Like specifically, Laura said that she was stopping and waiting.
Yeah, I was waiting for the live people.
I think Vesperine takes out her silver knife, and it's not like a stabbing, but I think she comes over to hover by the Lugaru. And it's like full wolf right now, right? Not just like that infamous. And I think she just lays like a hand on its back and is like tracing the knife like gently, like how someone traces like a pencil on paper almost. And she'll look to Alatea Because ultimately, if this is a dead body in this sitting room, they're going to have to get rid of it together.
Yes, and we'd have to do something else about the priest upstairs. But also, there is enough that there's something. One, I need to resolve my Emmerich issues. Two, we still have stuff to do. You can't die yet. Basically,
What if the pause in the middle of this? What if the as this is pausing? What if this is Emmerich's return?
I'm not sure that makes.
I'll be
a whole
honest,
lot
and I
of
don't think it flows right.
I don't think it
Yeah.
makes narrative sense to me.
Yeah, no. I also need. That doesn't make sense to me either.
No, I appreciate the
Okay,
suggestion.
no problem.
Yeah. No, it's. I'm trying to put a finger on why I need Adelbert not to die just yet, and it's partially flow of the story, so that way we don't keep having to make
Can I have
Chris tap in and tap out.
I have a question. When I don't know if we have established this ever, is Casimir ever aware of what's going on while the wolf is fronting? Because if he is, I think a monologue would be interesting to see if he can wrestle.
We've very directly established that he isn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. I couldn't remember if that was just the Lougarou lying or.
What if Perrois comes in?
No, that was in a monologue, I think.
Oh, okay, got it.
This could be a good moment for Perrois to come in.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a
Because
he's back against
he's hearing noise from downstairs.
Yeah, no, he's definitely
hearing noise.
There's definitely cause for it. I'm just trying to work out the
blocking of it.
Yeah, the geometry of the scene. Where physically is he?
I think.
Okay, let's put it this way.
The way that I've understood it. Yeah, the way that I've understood it is, Adalbert is pinned on the floor right now.
Because you did crash into the wall too.
Yes.
Yeah, and
you could be on the far side where the stairs is on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Because who's the priest we really want dead? Right? We got to do something about Perrois, right?
We also have to get Alethea in a little more trouble in order for this to make bank to me.
What if you called on your mother?
Speaking as the facilitator, she would be very unlikely to be helpful.
I agree. So we just need to.
Unless you want to make things worse, which I know Isabella loves doing.
Well, I want to make it worse. The only plans I had was to cause things to be so dire that Alethea cannot get into anyone's face enough anymore. And then possibly.
So
what if? I'm sorry. I was going to say, what if the it's not just the Lougarou who is drawn by the exorcism, but also Madame de Corriveau has been drawn out by Perrois upstairs.
Or a moment with Aletta somewhere.
I think an appearance of La Corriveau with Perrois could be interesting, and that could be a good moment for the camera to pan as your jaws are on my throat. We move upstairs to Perrois getting a manifestation of the big bad. Is that good for you, Chris?
Yes, I can't get my camera to focus. There we go.
There we go. Wonderful.
All right.
So the camera pans to upstairs, perhaps the music room, because we had done some stuff in there previously. Sure. And I think everyone, feel free to stop me and interject, since I'm not the only person attached to this house. I think there is another one of those intricate, exquisite black mirrors sitting close by to the fortepiano. And as... Oh my. Well, that gives me a little bit of time to think, I suppose. So, how are you?
Well, wolf problems.
I'm just thinking about how do I phrase this? I think we're focusing a little too much on mechanics, and the flow is a little disjointed. But I also
Yeah.
understand why we're
Yeah.
focusing so much on mechanics. I just feel like with the current time we have left, we're not going to get to the place that we want.
And
Yeah,
that was
that's my feeling as well.
That was always
Yeah.
a risk.
Yeah.
I'm open to scheduling another session. It probably
Yeah.
can't be at this normal time because my work schedule's changing. I'm going to be working on Sundays. So if we
All
need
right,
to
well,
do that,
we'll
we can
see.
discuss it. But I think we could wrap this up in a half hour.
Yeah.
Even if it's a slightly ambiguous, not fully resolved ending, that works for horror.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think if Parawa gets bitched upstairs,
Bitch is the word we're using.
I've not heard that used as a verb in that way many times before, but I like it.
all right. I guess y'all just didn't grow up where I grew up. No,
So,
never mind. But
anyway, as I was framing before the disconnect, there's another one of these really intricate, exquisite black mirrors, maybe resting on the fortepiano. As Paraguay is examining the room, there are flames starting to emanate from this mirror.
You will say submit by the power of God in Latin or some such nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we see in this moment is for the first time genuine fear, like emotion at all, but that emotion is fear on his face.
Mm.
Because as we've established, Parawa does not believe in ghosts.
Yeah. The flames start to spread, and a raspy, wretched voice enters your ear saying, "I remember you."
More catechisms, just at this point, bear like gibbering almost.
Mm. You're now surrounded by these flames. They've encircled you. And they're getting higher and they're getting hotter. And out of the haze steps this really tall, slender woman with a malevolent light in her eye. She just points directly at you. And says in that same raspy, wretched voice, "I think it's your turn to be the condemned, Perrois." And La Femme Fatale is going to spend her last resolve token to, I believe the technical term is get Perrois bitched. Just lunge at you and start slashing feverishly at you with one hand.
All right.
And hacking at you with an axe with the other.
In absence of a scene that plays out, I think we will just see like Perrois take the beginnings of crossing himself and then hard cut to him throat slashed on the floor.
I think that's a good way to do it, yeah. Like the sign of the cross is interrupted by this attack. This is a good moment to pan back downstairs, get back into the flow, away from the mechanics. You all can hear this. This is the room directly above you. So you could hear... Yeah, you could hear Perrois' intonations get louder and louder and more frightened, and then they just suddenly stop.
One dead priest or two dead priests? Which is better? I mean, which is worse?
Don't quite enjoy having to clean up after everyone else.
The Lugaroo.
Continue on.
The Lugaroo still has Adelbert's throat in his mouth, and he is not biting down yet.
At this point,
He wags his
Adelbert,
tail.
Adelbert, who has some difficulty speaking in this particular situation, understandably, just hisses out, "What's the matter, devil? Are you afraid to kill a man of God?"
Alethea, I think this is the point where they just their hands on their stomach and they are just so frustrated by this, and they just go, I really don't think this devil does. You really did have to make a mess of things, didn't you?
Adelbert looks up at you and just says, "I was only doing what I thought I needed to do."
To what end? Wasn't it enough that you left me?
His breath is
The man
restricted
who
enough.
killed...
His breath is restricted enough that he's having trouble speaking at all, and you can see him visibly struggle to get words out, but is unable to respond.
Come on, Lugaroo. Let their story play out. Isn't that more fun?
And the Lugaroo relaxes its jaws and sits back.
She'll pet him!
That's the urge. I'm sorry, it's true. That is the urge.
She'll pet.
I wish I was not muted so you could hear the noise I just made.
I wish you weren't muted either.
Yes, well, Adelbert is allowed to speak now.
Adelbert is getting his wind back and doesn't say much.
You disgrace me. You leave me with the man who helped kill my mother. And then you go to the place that assisted in her execution. And this is all you could think. You think you did what you had to. You harm another. You go after my brother. The only person I have left.
Adelbert is slowly kind of picking himself up. He can tell that this has gone very, very sideways, and he's not responding to Alatea, partially because they're a little bit right, but also just because his main priority is getting the fuck out. He's only paying half attention to Alatea's entreaties. He's inching toward the door.
Ooh.
I
I think if he starts inching through the door, I established something a session or two ago. Vesperine has handcuffs in her pockets. I will pay a resolve token if you will allow me to handcuff Adelbert.
I am going to refuse that token.
Totally fine.
Yeah, we have a wolf that can run. I don't think Adelbert will get really far, I'm gonna be honest.
Also true.
Yeah. They will they will not try to quickly get in front of him. It's just more like they're peeved off enough. And it's not going to be like, oh, I'm stopping you completely. You can absolutely shirk away, but wolf, you got a wolf. This is so far from what I thought was going to happen today.
Do you allow Adalbert to leave the house?
No,
Okay.
not unless you have some really good reason, something very interesting.
I think he's making his way toward the door unless someone stops him.
Oh, Alethea will be right in your way then if you're just trying to mosey on out. This is important
Clear.
enough to them. And I still. Are you okay with me taking my blade out on you? Like, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to let the wolf take care of you if that's really what you want. But I think we're at the point where we've taken you hostage.
I think it would
Actually,
play
that doesn't
better.
feel right.
I think it would play out better if you just kind of step in front of me as I'm approaching the door. And Adalbert just says quietly, "It's clear that I'm not wanted here. And clear that I'm unable to cure the rot that has infested this place. Why are you preventing me from leaving?"
Because you are a threat to my family. And the only rot here I see is you.
Clearly I'm not much of a threat, considering you very nearly let your brother devour me.
Perhaps I should have let him.
Adalbert is sad but not surprised that this is the way things have gone between the two of you. Just kind of looks down to the side, then looks back up, says, "I clearly have no power here. Why on earth would I ever return?" You already have you already have one dead man upstairs. I would hate for you to inconvenience yourself with a second.
Really, you should have stayed away because you still know how to get under my skin, and all I want to do right now is allow that beast to rip your heart out the way you did mine.
Then why aren't you?
You're right. I think at that, oh gosh, they're gonna look at the Lugaroo. If everybody's okay with that.
So you're looking at the Lugaroo in a way to indicate get him?
Yeah. Because in the end,
I'm fine with that depending on how the Lugaroo reacts. Like, we don't know necessarily that the Lugaroo is going to do what you tell him to.
this is true, absolutely true. But I will pay a resolve token too. Because the whole reason why Alethea can't trust him is because, one, Alethea does not trust anyone, not even the people here. Definitely not the Lugaroo, but they don't trust anyone here, and also they don't trust that, especially since Adalbert could not see the reason why he shouldn't have come in and done all this, that to Alethea, their priority is always their family and always protecting their family. And this is something they don't want to do, but they will if they must.
What if Adalbert's allowed to leave and the Lugru is last seen trotting behind him? Like, we don't know what's going to happen. And that way we can leave it open whether Adalbert actually gets it or not.
I like that a lot.
I love that.
Alright, so Adalbert leaves, and then after the door shuts behind him, I think we see the Lugaroo kind of scurry out after him. Just start chasing him, and it's left open-ended whether he catches the priest.
Yeah.
I
I think I will add one little thing that Alethea does move, and they say, you were only getting this far because of what feelings have scarred me. And they move and they wait, and then they gesture for the Lugaroo to do whatever the Lugaroo pleases. That's it.
Alright. Is there anything more we want from this final scene? Alright, I think this is probably the end of our story then.
But I need answers about Emmerich.
Yeah, god dang.
Yeah.
No closure
That's
whatsoever.
true.
We have to have
can-
Emmerich.
Yes. And we didn't have a
Alright.
fight with Aletta. That was,
didn't
I
have the
thought we
mirror
were going to
fight.
have time for that.
Alright,
we didn't have a
can-
mirror fight.
Well, it's 6:09. We're supposed to go till 6:30. If you think we can squeeze either of those in, we can do it.
I think Emmerich is really important. And I think Aletta will
Emmerich.
actually come in with the Emmerich thing, right? Like,
Alright, so
well, and actually Aletta could work in the epistolary. Like, that could be resolved.
alright, how do you want to do this?
This was so different than what I thought was going to happen. Well, this-
Personally, I don't think in 20 minutes it's going to. I don't think it's going to work out in 20 minutes. Sorry, I'll
I
keep
don't
that
think-
short and sweet.
I am skeptical that it could work out in 20 minutes, unfortunately. I know Emmerich was important. I did not mean to deprioritize it.
No, it's okay. I just.
No, I think this session kind of caught us all by surprise.
It really did.
Yeah.
yeah, this was nothing like what I thought was going to happen.
Which is
Really,
okay.
we
That happens.
should've
Sometimes
just-
things go sideways. But yeah, I don't
we
think.
should have just not involved the priests, I think, but
Perhaps.
it's what happened.
I think the priests were important.
But it didn't go the direction we thought it would,
No,
and
it-
we all got our feathers ruffled by it.
Yeah.
Which is okay. This is okay.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Um,
I am generally more inclined for horror games like this to not have very straightforward endings or straightforward answers. And I know that that's hard for some people.
I guess
To me, though, like, that's the thing. The difference with gothic horror and what everybody thinks is supposed to be gothic horror is that you're supposed to have... There's a difference between the genre with where you're supposed to end for it to be categorically gothic, and it's not supposed to be as open-ended as everybody else thinks. And
you might not get
this
the
is from
ending
years
you
and years
want,
of
but you
study.
get an ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, it's not supposed to be. It's also not supposed to be everybody dies and it was tragedy all around. That's not the same genre.
If
And
we
that's why
want,
I'm
we
like,
can try for the scene, but I also think it might be more prudent for us to use our remaining time to find a day that works for us to do a different final session. So that's just what I'm thinking. I'm not the facilitator. I'm not speaking for any of you.
I
But what are you
think-
guys thinking?
I think that is probably best. So I'm going to end the broadcast now.
Okay.
And we can figure that out off camera, and we can do stars and wishes off camera.
Bye, Chloe.
Bye.
Bye, people watching.